Joining us live, as promised, Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from the great state of Colorado. Welcome back. Always good to see you.
Ed, it is so great to be here, and I can't wait to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas when those wonderful holidays roll around. And I hope to go on the most amazing date on Valentine's next year as well. Democrats, they are just all the same. There's just a different kind of Democrat now. We've had Democrats cancel Thanksgiving before, saying that we couldn't be with our loved ones around a Thanksgiving table because of COVID, because of Fauci's direction and what he told the country was safe. And we had those same Democrats who were eating at the French Laundry whenever they wanted to and getting their hair done. And now you have these Democratic Socialist candidates who are winning. They are winning these elections, and it is absolutely absurd. And the regular Democrat Party is doing nothing to stop them because they've never had the balls to actually say what these new candidates are saying. And this is what happens when you've had a president that was barely around, barely alive, barely coherent for 4 years. This is what emerges. There is no one to stifle them, no one to stop them or slow them down. And this radicalism has been ushered in by the same Democrats who have tried to cancel our holidays in the past, who have called us racist and have acted racist themselves. And we're going to continue to see more of it. And unfortunately, the folks who vote them in will have the government they deserve, and the rest of us do not deserve it.
Well, I guess you have the guts to say all of that when others don't. We'll get to Ms. Hong there in Wisconsin. Let's start with Michigan, which is the marquee battle tonight. We keep hearing that Chuck Schumer and the Democratic establishment are petrified that if Abdul al-Sayed wins, he's up like 15 points in the Democrat primary. If he wins tonight, they're not going to stop this crazy train, and that this guy and the radical Muslims and the radical socialists are going to be front and center in November. On the other hand, though, are you worried that it's going to be difficult to stop this kind of guy with all these young socialists going to be going to Michigan campaigning for him? So talk about the Democrats being scared, but are you scared for America tonight?
Every Democrat primary that a DSA candidate wins does make me fear for our country even more. And I'm going to side with Shannon Breams and say I adore Haley Stevens. I don't like a lick of her policies, but her as a person, I mean, when you see the quirkiness of her, that is genuinely her. And I see it all the time in Congress. And that is not her opponent. Her opponent wants to abolish the Senate, wants to abolish the Supreme Court. You've just heard even Francesca Hong say that tipping is racist as she's working in a restaurant. And Republicans, we're here cutting taxes for those tipped employees. We're saying no tax on tips. We're not saying it's racist. And so it does make me fear for our country. In Colorado, the dean of our delegation, Diana DeGette, was ousted in her primary against Milak Kiros, another DSA candidate.
That's right.
And this is just creeping up on us everywhere. And they are no longer a fringe part of the party. They are not on the sidelines. This is the party. And there's no such thing as a moderate Democrat because they are not condemning their policies or their positions. They make us condemn anything and everything under the sun, but not one of them is standing up and saying enough is enough, you were going too far.
So what do you make of the Valentine's Day hit? Because it's beyond romance. It seemed about capitalism, that this was another example, Valentine's Day, she wrote, of capitalism dictating how we love or some crazy stuff. You mentioned the crazy communist in Colorado who knocked off Congresswoman DeGette in the primary. She has said that socialism has done more for the Declaration of Independence than capitalism ever. Why do they hate capitalism so much?
They hate American values altogether, and capitalism is what makes this country so great. You had Pete Buttigieg also saying that we need to have more taxes, more implications. I would love to get rid of capital gains taxes, especially for our senior citizens who've already owned their homes. I would love to get a financial audit and bring these people to a realization of what capitalism does for our country. I have owned restaurants. I have served tables. I have cooked on Valentine's Day, and it was always a joy to see couples who took the time to get a sitter and go and enjoy one another and rekindle that flame, if even for a moment. Now, me personally, if I wasn't working on Valentine's Day, I would rather go the day after or even a couple more later. So
Right.
there's more seating available. But, they do hate American values. And unfortunately, they are winning these primaries. And we have got to do everything that we can to keep Republicans in the majority so we do not lose our country.
There you go. Last thing on another matter involving the president and you. You've gone back and forth on the Epstein files and whatnot, but you've gotten behind Todd Blanche, who's the acting attorney general. A big deal. He was approved today by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Still needs a vote to be confirmed by the full Senate. But you've been very aggressive in saying that he should go through, that Todd Blanche has your support. I'm wondering, previously, you seemed upset about some of the, pullback. They were blacking out different pieces of the Epstein files, and you blame Todd Blanche in part. Do you now think he's addressed some of those, and you agree with how he handled the Epstein files? And what do you think about Republicans like John Cornyn trying to hold the president hostage on his picks?
Well, I've never called John Cornyn an actual Republican to start with, but Todd Blanche and I had very real conversations, and they were very adult conversations and mature conversations. It's okay to disagree. And in the end, we were able to release millions of Epstein files. And yes, there was some issues in the beginning. He has absolutely answered my call anytime that I have reached out. I have gone to the DOJ, I've gone to the FBI. He's come before the Oversight Committee. And I'm very excited to see his confirmation advance out of the Judiciary Committee. And I got to say, this is what true leadership looks like with Judiciary Chairman Grassley. He was able to overcome the gridlock and help negotiate a resolution. And it's kind of nice when a leader actually leads and delivers the votes.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, also, I think the system worked where the media likes to say, well, they're covering up the Epstein files. You're saying you raised concerns, and Todd Blanche answered your call, dealt with it, and put millions of files out there. Question asked and answered. Congresswoman Boebert, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.